Hi guys, I'm just going to record a little video just like Per did earlier this year before AIM. My reasons for doing this are that I went and wrote a really long email with some of my thoughts, and I thought it would be better if I just spoke them out and read out my email a bit, so that you guys didn't have to read through so much stuff. Maybe this would be an easier way, and we could facilitate a bit of discussion, because I'd really like to get your feedback and comments around these thoughts before the workshop if possible. I really think that it's important that we try to think about new ways of structuring the training modules and the training curriculum for Mosaic, and so I'd really appreciate your feedback. So the things I've been thinking about, firstly, I personally think that a lot of the training modules really do need a serious update, and in two ways. They should be made, first of all, to look a lot better and a lot more attractive, but also that they should be updated to reflect changes to the Mosaic program, like there's the new program goals, using the passport, new form, etc. This will be a process that I'm keen to work on following the workshop, and because I do think that it's a result of the workshop, as a result of the workshop, the right shop, we're going to have to look seriously at finding a sustainable and appropriate way for us to collaborate and cooperate more with CISV more broadly, particularly on education and training issues. I think there's going to be an expectation for us at the workshop, at the right shop, to buy into the process a bit more than we have so far, and I think that really we can benefit from this, as well as I know other programs can benefit from our understanding of education and training. So I'm really hoping that this is something that we can get out of the workshop, some clear ideas and plans on how to rework the whole training curriculum structure a bit. And particularly, it's made me think about the different types of trainings that we have, the first-time visits and the return visits, and on the other hand, the regional workshops, and how we should be distinguishing these from each other these days. Originally, the main difference between the first-time visit and the regional workshop, which used to be called the TTMT, the Train the Mosaic Trainer, was that the TTMT included stuff on how to train and on the training support system, whereas the other one didn't, the first-time visits didn't. And I don't know if there used to be another major distinction between the two, but these days I'm not seeing it so much, not in terms of the content of the training anyway, this distinction between the two. For me, the main difference between the first-time visits and the regional workshop is the way that we train, not what we train about. This is inspired by the reason that we're having these two different types of training in the first place. For example, and this is my personal view, the first-time visits are designed to assist in building the attitude, skills and knowledge of a staff or chapter group to plan, propose and manage a project. So we should be focused first and foremost on making sure that the chapter is ready to host at the end of the training. Therefore, making sure that they're comfortable with every step in the process, seeing it like a process, should be the main thread of the training. When I did the first-time visit in China recently, I built the structure of the training around the Mosaic proposal form. I gave copies of the form to each of the participants, and then they referred to the form right throughout the training. When we were talking about the characteristics of Mosaic, like the target group, the educational theme, etc., we looked at the first section of the form, and the participants split into small groups and filled that part out as though they were planning a project. Then we stopped. Then when we talked about goal and indicator setting, I talked about the theory of goals and indicators, and then they put that straight into practice in the same small groups. And the same went for project method and phases, for partner organisations, etc. Rather than trying to break the training into a whole lot of small activities which were used to illustrate the theory one by one, we immediately applied each part of the Mosaic theory into practice through using the form. And this seemed to work really well, and by the end of the fairly short training we had a number of pretty good basic projects which could be worked from and expanded. And what's really more important is that in the evaluations that I got at the end of the training, everybody marked that they understood the planning process and the Mosaic form really well. They were all completely comfortable with it. And for a country like China, which had no Mosaic experience and often not the best English skills and that sort of thing, it was just, I was breathtaking. I was really blown away by how amazing they had applied that knowledge through that training. Now, on the other hand, regional workshops are obviously different kettles of fish. The purpose of these are to train a whole bunch of people and inspire them to become missionaries in a way for Mosaic. They don't really have to plan projects necessarily. They just have to be inspired and aware about the program and its methods so that they can teach somebody else or support somebody else or promote in their own national associations. And I'm not sure I fully understand yet what the best way is to approach this, but I do think that the outcome needs a different method and a different approach to the first time visits. I'm not sure that using Legos that are the same for each training, be it a first time visit, a return visit, or a regional forum, regional workshop, is all that useful in this case. And we might need to think of different ways that we can present the different modules within the training curriculum. Meanwhile, I think that this is the regional workshops is a sort of training where a lot more discussion and simulation and dialogue and brainstorming activities are really what's really useful, because it promotes thinking of all the different ways that Mosaic can be thought about. It should truly be a workshop and not a training. Obviously, these distinctions are made more complicated by the fact that a training must be adapted significantly by the preferred styles of the trainer, and the background knowledge, language skills, experience, size, etc. of the participant group. And it's often really a fine balance between making sure you cover all the material clearly and accurately by almost giving a series of lectures, and inviting participants to find it all about themselves. I think our training model in the past, or certainly training that I've received and subsequently given, has tried a little too hard to convince people that Mosaic is the shit by telling them rather than letting them discover that by themselves through doing. As Stina used to always tell me, it's about motivating people rather than filling their heads with all the theory. And although I love the theory to death, I really do, and I do agree with what Stina was telling me, and I think we need to continue to work to make training more accessible and more relevant to the particular audience that's receiving it. Now, these are just some initial thoughts about all this. I really welcome you to give me comments, thoughts, criticism, or other feedback over the next month, because at the workshop I will be attempting to draw up some sort of comprehensive plan for how trainings are going to look. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate it, and I really hope to hear from you guys soon. Bye.